Yeah, you are welcome to my Eagles Diary this evening or this afternoon. Depends on the time you're watching me. So that's us getting started now. But just give me a moment. I want to try and fix something. Yep. So good afternoon and welcome to my Eagles Diary. I'm checking my audio as well. Please let me know if the audio is all right before we proceed. Yeah, good. So I think the audio is fine. So we can. Good afternoon and welcome. So I think we can continue. So thank you very much for joining me. The sound is clear. The picture is not so clear. I'm working on that. But for those of you who are joining me on Facebook, thank you. For those joining on YouTube, thank you. This is Mayegun live. And now we can do it in our own way. And that's what we are going to do. So since the purpose is to educate those who are kind of afraid, I'm talking about those that are easily swayed. So by those that are kind of scared, I don't know why they are scared. Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you're watching from. So yeah, so I don't know why they are scared. Every time if we say let us break up, let us break up, they are always kind of defensive. And you ask yourself, why are they defensive? If something is not working, it's the best thing not for you to change it. Mm? If something is not working, that's what I believe. Oh, that's my own philosophy. But I'll open the line I'll open the line for everyone very soon. And we are happy that we can do this on two channels and on two platforms same time. So if you can't see me very well on Facebook, you can go and join us on YouTube. So I'm trying to find your own YouTube page now. Just go onto YouTube and search for Mayegun's Diary Political. Mayegun's Diary Political. You will see, you'll see the page or the channel rather. I'm going to bring it up so that I can see my friends on there too. So I've got many of them who are watching. Thank you very much. The audio is super. According to, I can also pick on your comments too. So which means if you don't have the opportunity of, if you don't have the opportunity of calling in, you can, one moment. So if you don't have the opportunity of calling in, you can also get your own voice seen by everyone all over the world. So do not be afraid of the break, or let me say the breakup rather. I'll fix that. Do not be afraid of the breakup. If the union is not working, when you are in a marriage and you realize that instead of you to become to be prosperous and all of that, you are becoming poorer and poorer and poorer. It is killing after killing after killing, looting after looting after looting. And you cannot continue to deny. We cannot continue to deny what is so obvious. And that is why we need to educate those who are very much scared of the word divide, break up, and all of that. There is nothing bad in that. Do not be afraid. Let me be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with that. Are you with me? You just need to understand why. When you understand why, then it will encourage you. It will inspire you to what? To want to experience something different. And that's why we need to do this now. I haven't opened the line. The line will be opened soon. Okay. But just for everyone who want to, uh, I'll just give you a sort of head start. Nigeria is not working, even though many of us would love to see a working country. I mean, a country whereby we don't have to continue to talk about insecurity like the way we talk about them today. The whole world has their own, everyone has their own problem. The whole world is dealing with their own problem. But in our own country, it is more or less like criminals who have succeeded in taking over power have decided to continue to destroy a country they forcefully put together in the first place. And you need to understand why. Because if you want to fight for something, you need to know why you want to fight. If someone tells you that if something is not working, then you should change it. You, as a person, you must be able to identify why something is not working for you. Nigeria, as a country, right? Nigeria is not a nation. You will see politicians, you will hear them sometimes, they will say, we need to love our nation. Nigeria is not a nation. That is a fraudulent representation by politicians in Nigeria over time. And they have a reason. They have their reasons for doing that. Okay, they have their reasons. They are benefiting from it. And if you are benefiting from something, you will defend it, you will protect it. Are you with me? So, you as a person, personally, you need to have something that attaches you, something that attaches you to Nigeria, apart from that name and every other lies they told you. Okay. So, you need to define, who am I? What is Nigeria to you? Politicians will tell you our nation, our nation. That's a lie. Nigeria is not a nation. Nigeria is a country of nations. And it is very obvious. That's the reason why it is becoming more and more difficult to really make headway in everything. Let me be honest with you. Nigeria's problem is not spiritual. It is political. And if you want to fix Nigeria problem, you have to use political means to solve it. That is why peaceful dissolution of the country is the ultimate. If individually, if you indeed love that country, there are many countries there are many nations in Nigeria. Today, what they are doing is they are trying to make you deny your own nation and then accept a pseudo nation as yours. That is why it is so difficult for, the way an Hausa man would define Nigeria. Nigeria means different thing to an average northerner. That is the truth. Okay. Nigeria means different thing to an average southwesterner, Yorubas. Nigeria means different thing to an average easterner, the Biafrans and the Ijaws, the Shekiris, the Urubus, all of these people from the eastern part of Nigeria. Are you with me now? So that is why it's so difficult. Although we have been so struggling, right, to continue to live that fake identity by putting our real identities behind that of the fake one, Nigeria. Are you with me now? So, and that is why we have been unable to form anything called national cohesion. National cohesion is just to say we have something in common. Okay. But if you sit 20 or 21 Nigerians together in a room, 7 from the north, 7 from the west, 7 from the east, give them papers, give them pen, tell them to describe Nigeria, what Nigeria means to them individually, then my theory will make sense to you. That Nigeria as a country, it's good to call Nigeria a country. It's just like when people come together to form an organization and they say, we are going to call this organization XYZ. So everywhere you go, or every what do you call it? Every document that bears this name and logo represents us. So that is exactly what Nigeria is. Yorubas, Hausas, Fulanis, Ijos, Ishekiris, the Benues, the Middle Beltans. I'm not so good about all the tribes in Nigeria, so you have to forgive my my ignorance on that, okay? But however, you understand the point I'm trying to make. So in concept, a country needs to be where every component or every part of it agree to come together under an agreed terms on everything that affects them. Politics, the law, the judiciary, the legislative, the type of government they want, the type of economy they want, and so on and so forth. The people need to come together to agree to say, we, the people. But in the case of Nigeria, the name was given to us, and we were told to adopt it. We were told to love it. We were told to cherish it. We were told to preserve it. We were told to protect it, even though we have no idea, no identity. No one understands what it is. Our fathers accepted the name Nigeria. At some point, the Biafrans saw through the lies. They fought, they toiled. Eventually, they were forced back to Nigeria to stay as part of Nigeria. Yet, the Nigeria identity, the Nigeria dream, the Nigerian oneness that should make me and you connected. We may be divided on politics, but united on security. We may be divided on other policies of government, and then we be united on when it comes to healthcare for our people. When things that really affect all of us together, which are numerous. We have similar things that affect all of us across board. Yorubas, Igbos, and Hausas, and the rest. Sorry, I'm trying to work out something here because I haven't shared this broadcast, and I urge you to please share the broadcast too. Just before we continue, then we will open the line. When I open the line, you can then begin to make your own contributions, okay? So if you haven't shared the broadcast, this is the time for you to do that. Please do, and let's get as many people on board as possible. I'm going to do that just now, just before we get deeper into this. So we have nearly 800 people watching, over 800 people watching us on Facebook. We have similar large numbers of viewers on YouTube. So if you haven't shared this broadcast, please do so. Let's get to that zone. So thank you. One moment. So you need to understand first what you are protecting. Now, many of us, dead and alive, many have played the role right. They have done everything. Those who are dead did everything right. There are people who sacrificed, who believed truly in that Nigeria, but they fought and they died wrongfully because they were fighting for an entity that was not put together in their own interest. The Nigerian entity is not put together in your own interest. And every politician from every tribe, from every nation in Nigeria, currently parading himself as a leader of a tribe, whether he is parading himself as an Hausa Fulani political leader, whether he is parading himself as an Igbo political leader, or he is parading himself as a Yoruba political leader, every one of them has proved to us that they are not in any way representing the people they claim to be representing. Because if they were representing the people they claim to be representing, the regions they are representing or they have represented, the regions are all the components that make up Nigeria as a country. Those are the nations. And that is where the conversation should begin. So when you understand the concept Are you with me now? When you understand the concept of the country you are in, you need to know something needs to attach you to your country. Some of us who have left Nigeria, one way or the other, many of us have become citizens of different countries now. There is something that attached you to that country before you finally decided that you are willing to give up where you are coming from without anybody persuading you or anybody talking you into it. There is something that attached you. If you are an American today, they call you African American, but you probably love to be called Nigerian American because you shall want to carry that Nigerian identity to show that you are a Nigerian. But eventually you've picked up another identity from another country, which now makes you Nigerian American. Yeah. But if you leave that, if let's keep that of Nigeria now and talk about that, your American citizenship, something struck you the moment you got to that America that made you feel like you are better off being an American and not just a resident of America, whereby you can still live on visa. Do you know that you can live on visa and still work in different country without naturalizing yourselves? But Nigerians are many of us, when the opportunity presents itself, we don't even have to give it a second thought because already there are so many things that attaches you to these new countries that make you feel like, why not? I would love to be a Canadian, or I would love to be a South African, or I would love to be a Ghanaian. Nigerians are today saying they would love to be a Beninois, to be Beninois. There are things that attaches to them. What are these things? Maybe working system. What make up a working system? Dedicated people who are given the responsibility to make a system work. When your politicians are saddled with responsibility of making laws, they are also saddled with responsibility of making sure that the laws are obeyed, including themselves, without any sacred cow. But when you look at the structure, the fake structure Nigeria is, even though many are currently trying to tell us that we should restructure, I was one of those who believed that Nigeria should be restructured so that Nigeria can unlock its monumental potentials regionally. That is the only way to fight your way out of poverty. It is by changing what is not working. So now politicians who are saddled with that responsibility are, over the years, they have been shifting that responsibility to all of you. We are talking about connection. Before you disagree with a breakup of Nigeria, let's look at it this way. What connects you to Nigeria as a Nigerian yourself now? There must be something. Is it the unity that you have never seen before? Or is it the openness, honesty of the people in government who are handling the security, the economy of the country, or those who are trying to stop graft, looting, stealing, the criminality that they have harbored for so long? What connects you? There must be something. And if there is nothing, you should never join those who are saying no, because you don't know why they are saying no. They may have connections to Nigeria that you don't have. And you need to understand what connects you first before you can say, no, we cannot just break up. We need to, you know what I mean now? Now that you know there's nothing that connects you, then you should listen to those who are saying, let us break it down. Over time, politicians have been saying Nigeria is so complex. Okay, Nigeria is so complex. That is why it's so difficult to steal. To run Nigeria. Okay, but all I believe is, if something is so complex to operate, to run, maybe there are too many things put together. And when you put too much, they say when you put too much in the soup, you actually like ruin it. So if you put too much, maybe you have too much in the same pot. Why don't you just break it down? Break it down and create beautiful regions, beautiful society, beautiful people who love their various regions. And that is where the connection will start from. People need to be connected. People are more connected to their tribe now than they are to Nigeria. Those who are claiming to be connected to Nigeria are either, one, they are families of politicians, or they are contractors of politicians, or they are friends with friends of politicians, or those who have access to the free public money. And we won't blame them. But you, who summarily or just automatically goes into rage the moment they talk about breaking up of Nigeria, what is that thing that makes you want to? I will talk about a few other things that should make you feel worried, because we need to talk about things that should get you worried. The people who are supposed to, let's even say, okay, you and I are upset. We are angry because Nigeria has failed many people. There are many, many of our brothers and sisters who had to leave Nigeria by road. No joke. They had to leave Nigeria by road. Many of them died. Many of them were caught by human traffickers. They were sold as slaves. This is not a joke. There are so many people who have lost their what do you call it? Their youth age, or let me say their adulthood, to the repercussion of the corruption of those who are leading Nigeria. Politicians will tell you to blame yourself. That is what they do. You are wrong. You are not grateful. You are not doing enough. You want government to do everything for you, and so on and so forth. So that is why when they do anything for you, they want you to be grateful. Okay? They just want you to be grateful. You should be grateful they do that. If they choose not to, what are you going to do? And over time, many, many people have been customized. They have been programmed to live like that. I understand. But that won't erase the fact that their incompetence, their failure, their greed, their corruption, their self-centeredness, and their no love for the country they profess to love is the reason why many, many of our brothers ended up trekking in the Sahara Desert, looking for the greener pasture. There are many, many of us right now who are also languishing in different jails all over the world for immigration violation and the rest of that, where Nigeria is not even like interested in them. But instead of the country and the people as a, the whole country to feel kind of national, in a sort of a national pause, that why are Nigerians, young Nigerians, able-bodied Nigerians, educated Nigerians leaving Nigeria, looking for the greener pastures just to survive? It became something that everyone just thought, well, that's it. Nobody thought, or not everybody believed, that the politicians, the repercussion, the consequences of the failure of the politicians over time is the reason why economically Nigeria can no longer care for our own people. But they still force us together, even though you are sitting on, you are currently walking about right now on pile of wealth buried under the ground. But because Nigeria, a fake contraption put together, will not allow you to tap those resources or those potentials, except there is an approval from someone somewhere who doesn't even know those things exist in your backyard, someone somewhere in Abuja. But when you break it down, it frees up everybody. It unleashes the wealth of the land. It reduces the brain drain. It reduces the people, whereby the best of Nigeria are now living outside Nigeria. The worst of Nigeria are those who are now leading Nigeria. How do you expect it to be different? So, we have our brothers and sisters who have died in search of greener pastures all over the world. But instead of the politicians to take responsibility and look inward and ask, why are we losing the youngest population of Nigeria, the brainiest Nigerians, to the rest of the world? They don't care. That is why they are not looking inward. But you, as a person who is actually still very much living in Nigeria, they don't care about you either. If you want to leave, you can leave. That's what they say. So they don't care. And they push this responsibility, their responsibility, back to you. They make you to become your own local government. Today, everywhere in Nigeria, everyone is those who pretended to be better off, those who pretend to be doing better. I'm talking about those Nigerians who think they are better than other Nigerians. They have properties and they are living better. Now, I'm talking about them now. Everywhere in Nigeria right now, you are all let me use the word landlords. All of you landlords, because that would make sense now. Landlords, those of you who out of the art struggle, limited opportunity in Nigeria, you have succeeded in building yourselves one house, two houses, and more. You are doing well, Abi. But the government, the politicians who have reneged, who have failed on their own responsibilities, they have shifted their responsibilities to you now. They have failed to provide mass housing. They have failed to provide running, drinkable water for every home in Nigeria. They have failed to provide stable, reliable electricity for every home in Nigeria. Industrialization that could have put a larger percentage of the population, the younger people, into more productive time, and in the process grow the country. But because you have epileptic power supply over the years, due to the failures of the politicians over the years, that has limited the opportunity. So you as a landlord, you have to dig your own borehole. You have to buy your own generator to provide your own electricity. You have to fence your house. The politicians also failed to provide you security. So the moment you manage to get a little money to provide security for yourself, when you finish building your house, then you have to put up a fence. Even when you build these beautiful houses, you ruin them with the burglary. Burglaries that thieves, armed robbers won't be able to cut down. Who made you do that? Have you ever thought about that? Is that actually the normal way to live? The politicians who have failed to protect you, the politicians who are milking, who are filled, who are making a field day from your own misfortune. So you are forced to provide your own security too. Even though you feel like you are living better, you are living better because you'd never know on any other life that you can actually live a far fairer, safer life without having to do all of that. Because the moment you can't provide all of that anymore, you are not different from that young man that you always see in traffic every time you are going to work or you are going to club. That young man that looks dirty, homeless, dirty, sick, jobless too. The moment everything you've managed to provide for yourself, which the government has failed to provide for you, then you realize that you're not different from him too. That is why today, when people go down, when the economic hit hard, when people lose their jobs, when people lose their cars, when people lose their homes, when people lose their marriages, what I am just talking about now begin to make sense to them, that until you take the politicians responsible, until you take them responsible or you make them responsible, you will never get it right. Now, the politicians are now telling us it is so complex to rule Nigeria. Nigerians are always complaining. Let us break it down. There are better ways to run a country than what we have right now. But you don't have to join that. Not everyone will agree that we should break it up. But you should not join those who are benefiting from it. You know what I mean now? To say, no, 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 there are other ways. You cannot restructure anything when you don't have any structure. Let's be honest, okay? You can only restructure. You cannot see this building now. We can restructure this building, okay? We can restructure this building and change the style and all of that because the structure is there already. Nigeria has no structure. The constitution is fake. The politicians who wrote the constitution, they ensure that they are protected, okay? Let me give you another instance. Why politicians who are telling you that breaking up, we are better together, what they are saying is that they are better off living off you than you trying to reduce the number of places they can they can access. After the 1966 coup and the 1967 to 1970 civil war in Nigeria, those who won that war, those who declared themselves as winners, I'm talking about Ojuku. I mean, what do you call it? I'm talking about Gowon, rather. Pardon me. I'm talking about Gowon. I'm talking about those who finally took over Nigeria after that war. What they did was that they shared the country. They shared Nigeria. And that is why today there is no single oil well in northern part of Nigeria. Remember that the coup that changed the political structure of Nigeria from what our forefathers, our forebearers signed. The political coup that changed that was that of July 1966. That coup was called Northern Retaliatory Coup. Please don't forget, if they are telling you you are a Nigerian, you are one Nigeria and the rest of that. You may love it, but like I said, make sure there is something that link you up to that Nigeria. The fake Nigeria that we are currently battling to save, the one we have been battling to make work, the one that has been killing and killing and killing, the one that has refused all solution, is fake, is a fake country. And they forced it on us in July 1966. Those Muritala, Obasanjo, Sani Abacha, Muhammadu Buhari, Yakubu Gowon, Theophilus Danjuma, and many, many of them who participated in that coup in 1966. It was a retaliatory coup to that of January 15, 1966. So don't let anybody bobo you. Don't let anybody sell you any bobo anymore. From that moment, from July 1966, right? From that moment, those who carried out the coup, they didn't have any plan to be part of any Nigeria again. They just wanted to retaliate the killings of their leaders by those who planned the January 1966 coup. But the game changed when they told them that they were going to lose out in this whole thing. They were not ready for that. They should hang on. And from that moment, they shared the spoil of Nigeria. So now, do you know what happened? Immediately after the war, they ensured that the political arrangement in Nigeria only goes to who they want it to go to within themselves, and the battle rages on. And that is why they have been killing themselves again and again and again, because the battle to take over Nigeria, right, was not a battle to take over Nigeria initially. It was a battle to break up Nigeria. They wanted to take northern Nigeria out of Nigeria in retaliation for the killings of their leaders. That's what they said. They were begged to stay and take over the entire country. And when they took the entire country, they had nothing to fall back on. So they had no plan to develop the land they wanted to even take away. So they shared southern Nigeria for themselves. They shared the economy. They shared the political. They shared the security. They shared the wealth among themselves. That is why today, 99% of oil exploration in the southern part of Nigeria is being carried out by northerners. So when I say northerners, you as a northerner, don't get angry, don't get upset. You are not. It's not that you're actually going to benefit or you are benefiting. But when I say northerner, I am talking about your northern leaders, the leaders you love to protect a lot, the leaders that your religion tells you to respect, even if they are wrong or right. Are you with me now? So those leaders, they are thieves. And this is what they did after the war. Even though you may feel kind of powerful, like, you know what I mean? But this is what they did after the war. They shared the spoil of war. They shared all the oil and the oil rig that existed then. They sold themselves. I mean, they freely gave themselves all the oil rigs in Nigeria at the time for years, which means they had no knowledge about it. But back then, to them, it was like they knew oil was going to be so big that they will make so much money, not for the country, but for themselves. That is why today you have your billionaire northerners who are living in the midst of, or I mean, we are living in the midst of millions of poverty, beating people in the northern part of Nigeria today. So what they did was that they didn't share the spoil of war. They didn't bring the spoil of war as for everybody in Nigeria. They didn't do that. They shared it among themselves. Theophilus Danjuma was in charge of about 10 oil blocks. After that war, after Muritala became, after Gowon became head of state, since then, Theophilus Danjuma became a godfather. There is no successive government that happens in Nigeria that Theophilus Danjuma didn't play a part in. Every coup from 1966, Theophilus Danjuma, Abacha, Muhammadu Buhari, and the rest. You get that now? So they didn't win the war for Nigeria. They won the war for themselves. They didn't win the war for, what do you know what I mean now? So what they did was that they shared it among themselves. That's why today they are billionaires. Billionaires. Some of them, you don't even know how rich they are. Let me be honest with you. They are in Abacha. They are returning Abacha loot. Imagine if they have to tell us Babangida loot. Imagine if they have to tell us Theophilus Danjuma's loot. Imagine if they have to tell us all of their criminal leaders and their loot. Do you get the picture now? Eh? Do you get that now? So you as a northerner, when you heard us talking about division and breaking up Nigeria, don't get upset. Nigeria is not even in your own interest too. It's just in the interest of your. So today, in faraway Bayelsa, a northerner who hasn't been to Bayelsa in his life, but because when they were sharing the spoil of war, oil block day there everywhere for everybody, they were just speaking. You know the funniest thing, in their greed, they actually undervalued Nigeria crude oil since 1966 because of their greed. Every time they were telling you Nigeria is now producing 100,000 barrels, Nigeria is now producing 200,000 barrels, Nigeria is now producing 400,000 barrels, blah 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 a day. They are releasing figures so that you will think something is happening. But guess what? They are milking the country. They are milking the oil. They are doing what is called bunkering. Who are those in charge of oil bunkering? Ask an average Easterner who is from the Niger Delta region. Ask an average. It will tell you about what their media are telling you about bunkering. Are telling you about people smuggling. They are trying to break a pipeline. Nobody is trying to break any pipeline. It's actually a real business in that region. And guess who are those in charge operating it? The retired generals. They are those in charge of oil. All those who they say they are stealing oil in Nigeria. They are stealing crude oil. When you go to the core Niger Delta, you will realize that all the vessels who are stealing crude oil in Nigeria, they are manned and guided by Nigerian security, by Nigerian soldiers. Go to Niger Delta. People who are from that place will tell you. And they will tell you who are those who are running that racket in Niger Delta. The retired generals. So they shared it since 1966. So they were selling the oil so cheap for years. Nobody knows anything. Government in, government out. They knew the oil then was going to be. So when they were telling you that they wanted to invest in agriculture, they have started investing. It is all ruse. It is all game. It is all lies. Listen, what does it take to invest in agriculture? If you make so much money, let's say you make so much money from oil, and now you can buy machine, you can buy tools. Imagine oil money. Oh, I'm talking about billions of dollars. Oh, eh? The one that all you needed was Oyibo brought the equipment to Nigeria, and they started drilling, and they said they will be drilling and they will be giving you commission. Your commission alone is billions, simply because they brought their equipment. You didn't even buy the equipment. Now you want to invest in agriculture. What does it take to invest in agriculture? Politicians from 1960, they have been telling you about going into agriculture. Like, say, agriculture is so, but you know one thing, when they steal the money, when they make the money from nowhere, nobody knows, you realize that the same people who cannot implement agricultural policy when they are in government, when they leave government and they open their own farm, you will realize that they now control the biggest farm in Africa. They will suddenly say the former governor now own a bigger farm, the biggest farm in the entire Yoruba land. But when he was in government, when government money was there, it was so hard for him to make policy on agriculture that can feed everybody. So think about that. It's a sensible, think about that. It is because they deliberately choose not to make it work. And that is why they say it is complicated. So if politicians says Nigeria is complicated and you are not benefiting, instead you are finding excuses for them. Excuse me, you are finding excuses for them. What should you suggest? There is no structure. There is no time all of us came together that we are doing a national conference. So we have written a new constitution. No? And this is going to be in that constitution. No? And the constitution respects this and that. So I am doing this broadcast this afternoon or this evening, whatever the time is that you are listening or watching right now. I am doing this just to let you know that sometimes you may hate what you don't understand. Okay? You know, when you don't understand something, you will hate it, especially when it's not clearly explained. You will hate it. But when you understand something and you understand the peculiarity of it, and you understand the advantage of it, and possibly you understand or you find a connection to it, and you realize that it's actually in your favor, and the politician telling you that breakup is war. Breakup is not war. Why should you fight? Because you want them to say, let us break it into pieces. Let us identify every nation. Nigeria is not a nation, okay? Nigeria is a country, but Nigeria is a country of many nations. And until every nation is properly identified and acknowledged and respected, and when I say properly identified and acknowledged, I mean documented, and in every law that is going to guide the whole country, that small ethnic region is protected. And if it's not going to be like that, if it's going to be a long thing, then let people begin conversation between regions and let us break it up. That is the fastest, the easiest. You know how that will work is this. It will be easier for you and me to understand who are those behind any underdevelopment in our country that time. So I will no longer come here and think the reason why they are not developed, I mean, there is no electricity, there is no running water, there is no enough resources for my local government, is because there is this northerner who are always like against financial autonomy or resource control, so that my local government won't need to wait for Abuja before my local government can parley with anybody, any business interest, and explore and exploit every natural resources, every means that we want to develop, like America like they are doing in America right now. Every county, they have their different guiding laws and all of that. People are respected. No matter how small your community, your voice is heard loud and clear. The fake pseudo nationalist Nigeria they are putting together, there is no unison there. There is no united front that says the man that hasn't been to somewhere in Kano, someone like me who hasn't been to Kano in my life. How do you want me to understand that, it makes sense for you to use my VAT, the VAT from alcohol, to go and take care of people in Kano who actually have laws that punishes those who drink alcohol? So how do you want me to understand that in the same country whereby you can't sell alcohol there, meanwhile you can sell in another part, take money from those drinkers, then when it comes to sharing the money, it is not haram? How do you want to make me understand that that money, even though it's haram money, is going to go into development of some community in Kano, when I've never been to Kano, when I may never be to Kano, when I don't have any connection with Kano, I don't have anything that makes me want to be in Kano, and I am not alone. So how do you find out how many of us don't want to be to Nasarawa in our life? How do you want to find out how many of us don't want to go to Abuja in our life? How many of us do? How do you find out? You will find out by putting out a referendum that says, where do you want to live? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be called? Like, who do you want to be? Do you want to be this or that? The options. See, there is no gainsaying. There is no denial. Okay, that we might be talking about break up. Don't let us live in the fool's paradise that everyone in Nigeria wants Nigeria. In fact, everyone from southern Nigeria will support breaking up of Nigeria. Do not be trapped in that illusion, because that is not true. And everyone who will tell you why we should still be in a part of Nigeria should be listened to. You should listen to them too, because if you don't listen to them, they won't listen to you. And that is a culture that those who are saddled with responsibility of creating a conversation, a national conversation, not shying away from it, not killing people because they talk about dividing Nigeria, not hunting people down. Don't tell people to don't kill people for it. Listen to them. Listen to everybody. Listen to ourselves. That is what I preach. And that is exactly what will happen. Politicians will not listen to us. We will force them to listen to us. So there are those who are not going to agree. They are entitled to their opinion. You don't abuse them. There are those that will tell you they have connections to Nigeria. They have the right to it. It's the life they know. You don't have it anymore. Convince them. That should be your job. Everywhere now we are abusing ourselves. We are getting used to it. It's a culture. The politicians are also helping in as well. The politicians are funding different people to create fake accounts on social media. Imagine people getting paid 10,000 naira just to go on social media to tell you that everything you feel about Nigeria that is different from what their leaders feel about Nigeria, that you are wrong. Imagine, and you are the one who is feeling the brunt. The victims of Boko Haram, those whose families have been killed by kidnappers, those who have been robbed, those attacks, those children who have been denied medical opportunities, medical attention, those people who have died, who shouldn't die, by the way, if we have provided real medical facilities for them. The politicians that claim to love the country, apply to Nigeria, my country, they don't love the country. If they do, when you love something, you take care of it, don't you? I mean, if you love something, if I love something, I take care of it. I love my Egun's Diary. Look at amazing transformation taking place on my Egun's Diary every now and then. Look at all the experimentation that we are actually carrying out on my Egun's Diary, because we love my Egun's Diary platform. We love it. That's why we are taking care of it. So if Nigerian politicians love Nigeria, the living politicians, the dead politicians, the good politicians, the bad politicians, let's say if they indeed loved Nigeria, shouldn't they have fixed the country? That is the question you should ask yourself. Why is there no electricity? Some people don't want you to have electricity, fine. But there are those who want you to have it. What happened to those who want you to have it? Did those who don't want you to have it stop them? Then if they stopped them, where is the love? You fight to keep what you love good, don't you? Hmm? You fight to keep what you love. Politicians don't love the country. They don't. Their medical doctors, their private doctors are in Germany. Eh? The kind of cars they drive are imported from China, Japan, America, and all over the place. The person, I mean, the contractor who build it, I mean, who build their houses for them are all foreign. Everything, if they, the God they even worship as well, they carried so much that you begin to question them. What happened to the God you claim to worship, Nigerian politicians? What happened to it? So you realize that it's all fake. So the politicians are paying people, they are opening random fake accounts to tell you that how you feel about Nigeria is wrong. And you are actually agreeing with them that you drilled your own borehole. You provided your own electricity. You provided your own security. Education for your children, you have to provide that for yourself. By yourself as well. You are actually a mini local government on your own. You know what I mean now? And the same irresponsible people are telling you that it is still your fault that Nigeria is not working. And what you are doing is when you re-echo that, when you say the people who are not making Nigeria work are this person, this person, this person, and you are shielding the politicians because you have connections with them. What you are doing is you are validating that, right? And if they love the country, is that how you should be living? If that is how you want to live, there are people who don't want to live like that. Do you know you should respect that too? So all of you want to live. I am one of you. I want us to break Nigeria into so many countries. There are so many of you, there are so many parts of Nigeria that can actually form a proper country. And they will still be bigger than so many countries in Europe, honestly speaking. Ogun State, the population of Ogun State is about 5 million people. That is the population of Scotland. Scotland is fighting UK now, the rest of UK, to become a country on its own. And I am a member of the Scottish National Party, SNP. I vote for SNP all the time. And I will continue to vote for SNP. Every time they are going to campaign for independence, I'm going to also campaign with them because they have told me, I have a connection that says, yes, they are better off. So imagine Ogun State. Ogun State can be a country. Don't feel bad that you are going to lose that identity called Nigeria. You are going to get a better one that the whole world will respect. This time around, the whole world will know you. Every time, everywhere you go now, they say Nigeria. Boko Haram. You are from Nigeria. Corruption. Your politicians are. So they blame all of us. So when you break it down, yeah, you make it easier to manage. And then you have an identity too. Why don't you want to have your own identity? Why do you always, I'm a Yoruba man, and I think I should feel proud that I'm from Yoruba land. Then I should feel proud that I'm a Nigerian. And I think many of you will agree with me too, that you feel better to be called a Biafran than to be called a Nigerian. That's all I'm talking about. Identity. You deserve it. Why should you deny yourself that? Fine, you may not like it. I agree. You may have it in another way. Agreed. Do you know there are countries with just 1 million people, 2 million people, 3 million people? Or your state, they say there are about 10 million people. Lagos State is about 22 million people. Maybe if, London is UK. London population is about 20-something million as well. But guess what? London is populated by so many nationals because it's a cosmopolitan city. Lagos can remain Lagos and stay up and can be a country too. Now imagine if you have to merge Lagos with Ondo. Ondo State is about, I think Ondo State is about 4 million or 5 million as well. You have to match Lagos, 22 million, with Ondo, let's say 4 million averagely, 4 million. Ogun State, 5 million. 22 plus 4, 26 million. When you add 5 million to that, what do you get? 31 million. And add Ibadan. They say Ibadan or your state is 10 million. 31 million. That's 41 million. Let's go to Ekiti. Ekiti is about 2 million. 41 million plus 2 million. That's 43 million people. Let's leave Ekiti and go to Osun. Osun State is also about 3 million. 43 million people plus 3 million. That's 46 million. That's a big country. And if you walk anywhere all over the world with your own passport, that you are a Yoruba man or any name that we choose to call ourselves, why don't you want that identity? Why don't you want it? You can speak Yoruba if we choose that Yoruba will be our national language. Yes. Everyone who want to transact with us in Yoruba land, they will need to learn how to speak Yoruba. We will no longer need to learn another language simply because we want to protect our children. We want to protect our women. We want to protect our aged. They don't need. Do you know the level of advancement that will bring? That's what we are talking about. Do not be intimidated. Do not be afraid of the breakup. The union is not in your interest in any way. Everywhere you go now, you are a suspect. They suspect you once you say you are a Nigerian. Come on. So if politicians are telling you that you are better off as a Nigerian, see, let's ignore all the abuses now. Let's ignore all the abuses. That will always be there, okay? Nigerians, many of us, we don't participate in conversation simply because we want to have a conversation. Many of us participate because we want to have an argument. Are you with me now? So that will always be there, okay? Leave all the abuses now. Let's reason together now, like a common sense now. I just gave you a practical example of what having your own identity can be, okay? So as Yoruba people, with our own agreed constitution, with our own agreed way and custom of governance, with your own money, imagine having to hold your own money. 46 million people, a country of 46 million people. You will be revered, you will be regarded, you will be bigger than many countries in Africa too. You will still be respected. This time around, you won't have to, if you're a Yoruba son or a Yoruba daughter, take for instance, you see that Nigerian High Commission in London. Do you know that that house was procured as a Western region embassy? It was put together by Awolowo, the Western region government, which means even though we obtained independence from the UK, from the British, or from Britain, whatever you want to call it, the Western region, the western part of Nigeria, mainly the Yoruba people, we were the first to open our own international mission in the UK. That is the building, that is the house that is today Nigeria High Commission in the UK. It was put together by the government of Western region as the embassy of the Western Nigeria. So that's the example of what can be. So Yoruba people, the Biafrans too, look at their own population too. So when you put all of the states together, they're actually bigger than you can think. If we have to use the common sense this time around, you will realize that if you put all the Biafrans and those who want to be part of Biafra together, including the Niger Delta region and the rest of them, I know there's controversy going on that people are saying they should not match Niger Delta with. I understand. That's part of the conversation I'm talking about. We must open the verse that we must open the platform for everybody to have that conversation. If they don't want it and you don't want to listen to them, you cannot make them listen to you who want it. You must understand that theory. That's how it works. If they say they don't want to be part of Biafra and you think they should be part of it because by all practical, facts, they should be part of it. But if they say they are not, you should listen to them. If you want them to listen to you, from that moment, you will tell them why they should be. They will tell you why they don't want to be. Maybe at the end of that cross conversation, you will meet at a cross point and realize that be there, not be, is actually not the point. But being there and being part of it is actually the point. So at the end of the day, you may form something that is so big, and they are going to be bigger country too. Add all of them together, they will be about all their 10 states in the eastern part of Nigeria. Add everything together, you will realize that they can make more than 70 million population of a people. And that is massive. They can decide the type of constitution they want, the type of government they want. They can redefine their identity. There will always be differences. Come on, guys. It's not going to be perfect. Even the UK, America, that many of us are running to today, Canada and the rest. When you arrive in those countries, you realize that they have their own internal wranglings too. There are internal divisions that says we don't like those people. We don't. But when it comes to something that connected all of them together, they call themselves one. There is nothing that connects all of us together as one Nigeria, but there are so many things that can connect us if we break everything down and we give each region, each people, the identity they need. And through identity, patriotism will come. People will sacrifice because they know they are sacrificing for the right thing. And that is where the conversation will go. That is where we are going to take it. That is where all of us who are very much genuine. Let me tell you something, okay? Politicians are also on social media. They pay people, okay? When we accuse them of stealing, they pay people to say they didn't steal, okay? They're just skipping the money. When we say they violated the constitution, they pay people to tell you they didn't, okay? Even when it is obvious that they did. So now you need to stop agreeing with them now. And you need to begin to ask yourself, what do I want? What is that thing that connects me? What is that thing that will make me want to stand and defend Nigeria? But when you realize that there's absolute nothing, then ask yourself, what is that thing that will make me want to defend Yoruba land? Then you will begin to get it that all we are asking for, the reason why Nigeria is not working is because we all have conflict identities. An Hausa Fulani man will tell you is better because he wants to feel better. An Igbo man, a Biafran, will tell you he is far better off than every other tribe in Nigeria, especially if they can do and allow them to do what they want to do. That means they give us our own country. When you meet an average Yoruba man, he will tell you Yorubas are very intelligent at this and that. We are the greatest people. Now, if you want to understand the concept very well, ask them, what is that thing that connects you to Nigeria that you can die for? Then ask them, my brother, what is that thing that connects you to your Igbo heritage, your Biafran heritage, that can make you, that you can do anything to fight for? And watch the reaction, the two reactions, then you will get my logic. That there is no point in fighting ourselves. What we need to begin to engage in now is conversation. Let's talk about it. You talk about this. There are many of those people who are joining us. That's why I said genuine people. There are many fake accounts on social media. Their job is to tell you that Yorubas are this, Yorubas are that. Their job is to tell you that Igbos are this, Igbos are that. Their job, primary job, is to continue to tell you how Hausa Fulanis are this, Hausa Fulanis are that. Many of them are using these keywords. They are fake accounts, and you will be surprised that they are actually opened and being operated by those linked to the same politicians who made that country a hell for everybody. So do not be swayed by all reactions. Do not be swayed by all the fake comments too. But if you are genuinely passionate about Nigeria, you have right to it. Don't feel ashamed about it, okay? We can use all manner of descriptions to describe you and all of that. I won't be one of those that will call you an animal for believing in Nigeria. But we want to listen to you. We want to listen. We want to know why. What is that connection? So, because if we don't listen to you, you won't listen to us. We are ready to tell you why you are better off without Nigeria. But we want to know why you think you are better off. Okay? So until we begin to have that conversation, until you and I begin to do that, let's not forget, another part of the conversation is, if I ask you, how do you feel being an Igbo man? How do you feel being an Hausa man? How do you feel being an because there are people who are telling us now that you see, Hausa Fulani people are not the only people in the northern part of Nigeria, and we keep repeating that. You know why? It is what the narrative the politicians have put into the media, and over time the media have been repeating it and repeating it. Today, if not because some of us actually took time to read a lot and master some names of so many tribes in Nigeria, what politicians and the colonial masters, what they succeeded in putting into our heads was, we are 3 tribes in Nigeria: Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba. It was lately that we begin to add Hausa, Fulani, Yorubas, and Igbos. But there are other tribes too. There are other ethnicities in Nigeria. So over the time, the media and the politicians, they have managed to drive the narrative. But it is going to stop now. Trust me, it is going to stop. It is going to change. And that is why I'm interested in listening to people too. There are many people who say, I will never have any conversation with an Hausa Fulani man. They are a terrorist. Do not always be carried away by those comments. Many of them are coming from the handles, fake accounts operated by Nigerian politicians. Because you know why? In that division, they know you and I will never sit together. Are you with me now? There are still so many platforms on social media promoting tribal differences right now. They are getting viewers. They are getting thousands of people watching them because they are latching on Igbo this, Yoruba that, Hausa this, Fulani that. But if you are genuinely interested in breaking up Nigeria, if we are genuinely interested, we must also be interested in having conversation. We know what we want, Abi. Do you know what the other person wants too? You know what you want. You know why you want what you want. Do you want to listen to other person why he wants what he wants to? But politicians they don't want that to happen. How could you be discussing? How could you be having a conversation? How could an Hausa man be on the program of a Yoruba man and an Igbo man is also a guest there, and they're having conversation? They are not fighting. They are not abusing themselves. That is not right. That is impossible. That is unacceptable. So they would then unleash some of these fake accounts to begin to drop comment and say, be careful of the Hausa man, be careful of an Igbo man. Now we want to break it. Let's understand ourselves why we want to. And maybe at the end of the day, we can collaborate together when the politicians are already thinking that we will never have conversation as a people. Then in unity, with a united voice, then we just come for them, make the breakup happen. Instead of us fighting ourselves, then we ended up as comrade. And you will see Musa, you will see Abdullahi, you will see Abubakar asking all of us that to save Nigeria, to save lives, let us break up Nigeria. And you, Okechukwu, you will be like, is this for real? Is this actually happening? And then Mayegun will tell you, it is happening because you gave a little room to listen to genuine conversation. And you are no longer reading just the comments, which you and I know that many of them are paid for by the same politicians who refused to make Nigeria one, who refused to give us a national unity, a national goal, something like a national mission that you and I can attach ourselves to without having to think as a Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo. They have failed on that for 60 years. 60 years. So instead of you to continue to agree with them that we don't need to break up, we just need to restructure, then we will need to have that conversation. I'm going to open the line now for those who want to call in and those who want to make a contribution. The line, the number is on your screen. It is just WhatsApp call only. And I hope the audio is still very much okay. So to everyone there, yeah. So the line is opened and you can call in through the WhatsApp now. Add your own voice for another half an hour. Then we'll call it a day. To my friends on YouTube, how is it going? We are doing well. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Now, to those of you who are watching me from Facebook, I am going to drop this, and I think it should just go straight to both sides. It's going to be the GoFundMe link account for the Diaspora Radio. There is a lot that is going on the ground now, and you know that if you want to build anything, you have to first build the platform, the structure. Can you please turn in the broadcast there? You are now live on Mayegu.
Yeah, hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother.
I cannot enjoy you more than this today.
You see how we do, Now we are everywhere. Oh, radio is coming. Oh,
yeah, I actually have it in a few days time, but your words took my study from me. Well done, sir.
Thank you for joining me. Your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Pedro. I live in Helsinki.
In Helsinki. Lovely. Go on, sir.
Yeah. Thank you for coming out to stand for us as a Nigerian youth. This is unprecedented, something we had never seen before. I am praising you. I'm not trying to say that you are perfect, but at least you are standing, you are raising your voice for us. There are many advantages, there are many disadvantages everybody share in their life. So I believe that at least you are more positive than negative.
Thank you.
Ever since I have been following you.
Thank you, sir.
So what I want to contribute to the situation is that a lot of people will talk about Nigeria disintegrating. It's one of the options. At least if we have one or two options, that could be the second option. Because everybody, we have all said that as far as we are having different regions, we could have autonomous in different regions so that everybody concentrates in trying to take care of the closest people around them.
That's
so
right.
One person will not take the load of more than 200 ethnics in one country. So, but they are not listening. That is that is why this situation, we are seeing ourselves in this situation that everybody is saying disintegrate Nigeria, of which we are not supposed to divide ourselves, but they are not listening. And we have waited for 6 decades and no positive changes have been happening. So this is the reason I cannot stand against you if you are mentioning disintegration. Of course, I love everyone in Nigeria, but we have been waiting for changes and no changes, and they continue to deceive us every day. So this is it. So what I want you guys to know is that personally, everybody has a different way of coming out to help each other in terms of these projects that we have just begun.
That's right.
So for me, I think everyone should look inward. How in the event of we disagreeing, all the Nigerians disagree, and we now say we are not able to understand ourselves. Now let us fight and get ourselves out of this problem. Then we have to look out the populations that we have there. You understand?
That's right.
And we, from the southern part of Nigeria, we have to recognize the fact that we don't recognize agriculture. You understand? And this is one of the problems we had before, and we still have it today, that we don't have food. You understand what I mean?
I'm with you.
So when people are talking about disintegrating Nigeria, I would just look at. I told people around me, and I said, look, when there is fight, for 1 week in Nigeria. The southern people, the Yorubas, the Igbos, the South people, they won't be able to survive in 1 week because we ignore agriculture. We don't have food. You understand?
I'm with
we don't
you.
have food. So when I look at people raising their voices, I am an economist. When I look at people raising their voices, I will just be, oh, these people, I think it is time for this, but there is no preparation.
Thank you very much. Yeah, let's hear from others too. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate this call. Yeah, have a good one, sir. I have another caller, and I'm sorry. Oh, I think I'm. Oh, hello. Sorry if I pick you and it got cut off. Hello.
Hello, Mayeko. Good evening. This is Jocelyn.
Oh, Jocelyn, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. It's good to have you. I'm thinking of bringing you on one day, one of these days, and but yeah, go on, make your contribution now.
Yeah, of course, I will, because it's been long. I've seen you online. Sometimes I'll be busy with other things while you're also broadcasting.
I know, and there are so many. There are so many channels available now that you guys are tuning in. So you're lucky. There's so many choices.
Yes.
So go on. You know what the conversation is today, Jocelyn. Go on, please.
Yes. I've seen the topic already. First of all, I would say congratulations. You've been doing a very great job.
Thank you.
You know, what you've been doing is not easy for one man like you to be into such a thing.
Thank you.
I will give it to you.
Thanks.
You know what? I'm actually wearing the headphone you gave to me.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm wearing mine too.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Regarding the topic you have on hand, I would say actually I quite agree with you, because Nigeria is too big to be ruled by few. Over 200 million is a lot of people in one country. And then I've seen that if you compare to Luxembourg, it's less than 1 million people population they have at the moment. In Africa, you've got Seychelles, which is less than 100,000 people in population as well. So having a country as big as Nigeria needs to be splitted into only God know how many places, but that is the best thing that can happen to that country. Split the country and let everyone go in peace and have a good life. Okay, because I know why they are still holding on to that nation, because of the resources and what they feel are benefiting from it. But it's quite unfortunate they're using the youth and then the youth to gain much ground and much benefit. It's a shameful thing that they are using us for that. But what everyone who has love or compassion for other ones should know that the best thing is to split, so that people can have enough and have the good quality of life, good basic amenities. Lovely. This is where they should be thinking. They should be thinking toward this line. But apparently, we are too greedy, and the love of money has blinded us so much, and we decided not to do the right thing. If they wanted Nigeria to work in the first place, the resources we have on ground would have done a very good job. If they had managed it well, we will not be outside the country.
That's right.
If they had managed with the resources we have, things will not be the way it is right now. You understand me?
I'm with you.
So this is my contribution.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Go on.
Yes. When they hear of Biafra or Dudua or whatever everybody's clamoring for, it's not all about war. It's to save life, for people to have a good living. That is all we're all crying for. And they should just heed to the advice of the masses, listen to their voice and do needful.
Thank you. Thank you
so much.
You have a good one there, Jocelyn. Yeah. Thank you.
Keep up the good one.
I will. Thank you very much for the support too. So that's Jocelyn there, a regular. I'm glad that they won't say the hello, sir. Hello. I think the network itself, and the line is so busy. I'm sorry. Hello. Hello. Yeah. You're through to Mayegun's Diary. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Turkey. My name is Henry.
Henry from Turkey. How are you, sir?
Good evening, Mayegun Diary.
Good evening, sir.
I'm fine. And you?
I'm very well. Yeah. Thank you so much. So yeah, go on. You are live now. Everyone is hearing you.
Okay, my own contribution is they said charity begins at home. You understand?
That's right.
Dividing Nigeria is not the right thing to do now.
Okay.
I would suggest if Nigerian youths will start by asking questions, demanding questions from their House of Representatives, from their senators, from their local government chairman, from their governors, because it's not House of Fulani that is ruling Delta State. I'm from Delta State. You understand? And every month, money is being shared in Delta State. Just few people. And you know something about this corruption, it's like a virus. Even though if you share Nigeria today, these people are still on top. They have money. They will still inflict others. The sharing will still continue. But if the youth, we the youth will start asking questions, like our governor today, ask him, what are you doing with the money?
That's right.
You receive from Abuja every day. Asking your senators questions. Because it's not an answer Fulani that is ruling Delta State. We have a governor from our own place. But still, things are not being fixed. You understand?
I'm with you.
Delta State, you hardly see a good road. It's now 8 years. The governor is still fixing Asaba. You understand? Is it Buhari that will come and fix Asaba? Is it Lawan that will come and fix Asaba for him? No. But he's one there, sharing the money among few. If he's leaving now, the next 4 years, 2023, when he's leaving, he will bring another crook
to take over.
Make the governor. The sharing will continue. And they will block some few people among us, giving them money to intimidate us. I am from Ndugwa East local government. We have a representative in House of Assembly. He's the richest here. Where did he make the money? He's just below 40 years. Sharing our money, frustrating the local government. Is it House of Fulani? It's from the local government. So I would suggest, because sharing Nigeria, it will not favor us, because like when I was in Lagos, I used to buy this made in Nigerian self-house.
Right.
Yoruba guys do it. Very nice. If we have a good government, you can stop importing shoes from China, found it. We have some Yoruba guys that can make good sandals. And our population, when you open a company, one person, you can employ more than 300 people. Because in the north, they need about 3,000 slippers tomorrow. Because they used to wear slippers, those House of Fulani.
I get that.
They need about 3,000. And if a Yoruba guy, one person had a company and he employed 300 people in Yoruba land, in Lagos, let's assume, and you are supplying it to the north. From the north, we can supply to Niger. So I believe because when you share the country, like when we divide now, you have a boundaries. But now we are one, and the population matters. So what I'm suggesting is better we start asking questions, asking our governors, what are you doing with our money?
I'm with you.
Asking our senators, asking them, not when the election comes, you go there, collect rice, share money, and
then complain later. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave you now because of others as well. There's so many people waiting on the line. Thank you very much for calling. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to let me take this caller. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello, my Egon.
Hello, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Esosa Evans Nabulile. I'm calling from England.
Esosa, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm fine.
You are true to the studio. I mean, you are true to the studio, rather. So, what's your comment tonight?
Yeah, my Ego. You see,
when
I hear people say it's not time to break up Nigeria now, I just begin to imagine what kind of mentality do we still have. My Ego, the only reason Nigeria can become Nigeria or whatever they want it to be is when Nigeria break up. Because people keep saying we should start asking questions. Look, Mayegun, when you want to ask questions, when they break up Nigeria, you see those criminals, like what do you call it, Chief Tinubu, he will have nowhere to run to in Abuja. Now, I know he lives somewhere and is in Ododua or whatever they decide to name.
Call it country. Mm-hmm.
So if it is, or if it takes anything that belongs to the country, then we know where we are going to. But this time around, you don't see them. They are just saying, every governor keep running to Abuja. You can't even see them in their states. So they have a place for cover up. When they break the country, my brother, that is the best option. So for people to start saying, Nigeria is not ripe, my brother, Nigeria is ripe for breakup. The population, if you take like 3-4 states in Nigeria, their population is much bigger than some developed countries.
So many countries we run to. Exactly. The same country we run to in Europe. Many of them are not even big enough from the state we are coming from in Nigeria. And we are there collecting support.
I'm telling you, my Egun, imagine the full England. Just pick like 6, 7, 8 states from Nigeria. It's bigger. The population is much more than England, if I'm not mistaken.
You are not wrong. Exactly. 60 million is England. Is it 60 million or just a 40? Be there about, yeah? You are not wrong.
Okay. So, why are we deceiving us? See, these people telling us Nigeria is not right, Nigeria is not. My brother, these people are those fake accounts we are talking about. They are politicians, boy. They are politicians, humble slaves. Because they know when Nigeria break up, they will no longer feed from where they are eating. You see, if you bring Nigeria to a table, Nigeria is just being enjoyed by a few. And you see these criminals who call themselves leaders and politicians, they have one pattern they use. You see, they renovate the roads, they renovate hospitals, and you see those people that are supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow, which are the youth, they start singing their praises like, what is wrong with these people? Somebody just renovate the road for you, and here you are singing his praises. You just give him access to steal
more. Exactly. You validated that one, and it will be like, they are so happy. Look at this mumus. They are so happy with that one we did.
Come on, Mike. Imagine people living abroad. They enjoy so many things, so many amenities. They enjoy, even their children go to school free. They have student loans, and you see them. Those Abroadians, I don't know what you call them. They keep praising like when I just ask myself, I say, God, where are we going to? Even you that is in the developed country, you are enjoying good things here. Then when I see people saying Nigeria is not right, my brother, Nigeria is overdue. We know who we are going to hold responsible for the collapse of our region. But now, when you are talking, the Obama will tell you it's Buhari that is the president. If you attack the Igbo man, he will say it's Buhari that. But by the time Nigeria breaks up, the Igbo man will now know who is going to hold responsible.
Exactly.
For the calamity that is befalling his country. Then the Odotua or whatever, they will know who they are going to hold responsible. So it will be the best option to me, and I believe to many Nigerians, not those lip service who are being paid by politicians just to come on, call on air, write their comment. My brother, make Nigeria scatter, make it scatter, make everybody go, make we go our way. Make we go.
More everybody go your own way. Thank you, my brother. Make I take exactly. Make I take another person call. Let's see what we hear from others too, Baba. Nice one.
We are right behind you. Anyhow, we they give them.
And so they go complete tire, and now we are unstoppable. You know what? We are unstoppable now.
Sorry, let me just take this one.
Go quickly.
I have never seen it live on YouTube and live on Facebook. In fact, and the only reason I keep following you, I've been following you for a very long time now, though I don't normally comment, but with this your recent development, brother, there are many. You are the only. See, you are the only bias person online who does not have to speak about the Igbos like always brafa. You are so balanced. You don't have respect for them. Be you PDP, be you APC.
More fire all of them. Make nobody to know. See, now me they hungry. Nobody should tell me how I should feel hungry. You don't tell me say PDP did them better, APC do them better. You the craze? I say I they hungry. We go see. They go hear them. They go hear them. Thank you, Baba. Appreciate that. Stay blessed. Nice one. Nice one, Baba. That's Osas there from London, England, and fantastic. There's so many people who have been trying to call, and like expected, there have been people who have been jumping onto the program as well to drop some terrible comment and all of that. We would love to have conversation with people who want to have conversation, but at least be bold enough to use your father's name. Okay. If you want to defend any politician in Nigeria, be bold enough to use your father's name. Don't use fake name. Come on. At least be proud of your fathers. Use your father's names so that we can know who is defending who and why. You don't need to abuse us. You don't need to do all of that. You know? So the line is opened again for those who want to call in. I have another caller this time around. Hello there. Can you hear me, sir? Yeah. Your name and where you're calling from?
I hear you loud and clear.
Fantastic. Go on, sir. Your name?
My name is Anthony. I am calling from Morocco, Rabat, Morocco.
Rabat, Morocco.
So
Go on, sir.
From the topic you are talking today, I've been following you for quite some time.
Thank you.
For the topic you are talking today, I think it's a very, very interesting topic. And it's a very good topic. And I hope I'm very, very optimistic that it will surely come to pass. Because for close to 60 years, people has been deceiving us, calling all of us fools. We don't know nothing. They know everything. They do what they like. They are untouchables. But time will come when they will be touchable. Well, my contribution and what I want to say is about the man who made some call and said that we don't have agriculture in the south. It's false. It's a lie, my brother. If he bet on that, he will never and we will never achieve this division. Because during the days of my grandfather, what did we use to ascertain health in Igbo land? It's the farm barn, the yam barn, where a farmer will have a big barn of yams, cocoyam, everything. So we shouldn't talk about agriculture because the northerners are into what do they call it? New modern agriculture because the government is
sponsoring them.
They are untouchables. They receive everything freely. But way back home, people still go to the farm, my brother. People still go to the farm today. So we will never die of hunger. Never, not the Yorubas, not the Igbos, the Hausas too, they will never die. But they will still stay with. Maybe they can export it, but it's not a problem.
So the truth is that everybody will find his way. Everybody will be all right. This current one is not working. That's the issue. It's not working. So how can something that is not working must be kept? It's not working.
Well, it's not working. It's not working. And I think that to divide a country is difficult because there are international politics that are involved. But still at that.
That's why I'm saying that they don't want to have the conversation. And if we don't have the conversation, how can we find a solution? When you say we shouldn't talk about it, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. How can we find out how to do?
How to do is for those who are in Nigeria, for those who are way back home, it's not for them to be violent. It's not for them to stop destroying things, but it's for them to find a more applicable way of seeing things and coming together and forget all this division they put into us ethnically, and then after when you have the other people who are making their life into cause and things like that, all those things are bullshit. They force us into that. Robbery, kidnapping, they force us into that. Running away, they force us into that. So what I mean is that people at home should as if the voting is going on, should always vote right, firstly, and stop receiving money. And anybody that comes with money should be beaten.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You understand my point?
I'm with you.
Stipends. You cannot sell your 4 years and have just stipend, and after 4 years, you are just there dying and nobody.
Oh, hello. Oh dear. Hello.
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 Hello. My name is Uzoma Njoko. I'm calling from Enugu State.
Uzoma Njoko from Enugu. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Oh, Mayegun.
Yes, sir. That's it.
How you doing?
I'm very well, my brother, sir. Yourself?
Yeah, I've been a fan of yours since 2017.
Thank
Even when
you.
your Facebook page got blocked, I was still waiting that it's going to be retrieved, and thank God we are here now.
Better off.
I actually been trying to get across since because of one. I thought it was the third caller from now that said that we should start asking our governors questions, and I'm saying that asking governors questions won't work. You know why? Because there is a central government that is in Abuja. So when they go to Abuja, they collect any money they gave them. They come back here, they tell us they've not paid them, or they've not given them their money, or if it's where they are meant to give them 1 million, they give them 800, keeping the 200 for the Roja that is at the top there. That they believe their godfatherism, the people that made them to be in government. Now they come back here, instead of them to tell us that they gave them 800, they won't. They will take the 400 and now say they are returning 400 to us. But because the people already at the top has collected 200, and even when they hear it, they won't do anything because it's just a matter of you. You want to call kettle black when you're already black. You collected 200, I collected 400, so it's all goes. So I support the idea of Nigeria is a very big nation. It has to be broken into pieces. If you want to break into 6 places, I don't give a hoot, but I know that the resources and the human capital we have here will make this country, each section, a very great place to be. We cannot be running to Europe countries for greener pastures when we are sitting on a resources that can sustain us, our children, our children for a lifetime.
When something is not working, you know, go on.
The question is, hello.
Please go on. Yeah, go on, sir.
Yeah, the question is, if we are so much bad, why do the Europeans, the Americans, still need the resources from our country? Why? Because if you made me believe, or they program me in such a way that we believe that we cannot actually survive without anything European, that is a lie. We've been hearing stories of our doctors going to Europe and performing wonders.
A lot of them.
They are from this country. And because it baffles me when a minister would stand in front of doctors and said, if you don't like what we are doing, you can leave the country. Now there was an epidemic. You needed people to come. And I wonder if I had my way, I would have said all those in government, immediately you catch COVID, those doctors shouldn't treat you. Because it's all about bringing the truth out. Whatever you garbage in a system is what you garbage out.
No doubt.
You didn't treat them well, they shouldn't treat you well. It's simple as ABC. Location 9 is done. So I'm of the opinion that it should be broken into pieces. Call it any nation you want. You want to call it Ijo nation? Fine. You want to call Biafra nation? Fine. You want to call Ojua nation? Fine. You want to call Middle Belt nation? Fine.
Let the people decide.
It's done. Let's be neighbors. Let's be neighbors. Like as Nigeria right now is with Ghana. Let's be neighbors. We will trade. You give me, I buy what you have, you buy what I have. It's simple arithmetic. This country will flourish well. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much. It's so detailed and I love it. Thank you very much from Enugu. Stay safe, Baba. Thank you.
All right.
Nice one. So I have another caller and I'll take one more. Let's check our time. Okay. I think I can still take 1 or 2 more. So yeah. Hello. Sorry, sometimes your internet can fail to connect. Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayegun.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, and thanks to all the fans that have been calling today. I really appreciate your job too.
Thank you.
God Almighty bless you, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
I won't talk too much today. My name is JJ from London.
JJ.
There's some things that we need to enlighten ourselves for. If the call, as the second last caller said, there was a guy who said we should be asking questions. Now, to ask a question is very simple. But the problem that Nigeria have is because of the regional, the central power. When there's a political, take Ekiti for instance, when Ekiti Fayose went down to Abuja to get an army, why did you think he was able to do that?
Because of one Nigeria.
Same thing. Fayemi also repeated the same thing. Do you know the reason why he was able to do that? Because in the Nigerian law, whenever there's a trouble or anything, it's easy to ship down the Boko Haram soldiers down to Yoruba to come and monitor election. Before, and our people, no matter how strong you are, you run and fight. That's how you know a good warrior.
That's right.
That is why it's so difficult to ask any politician questions. The best way is to split that country. For instance, Sofia, that is Bulgaria, is the most smallest capital in Europe. But today they call themselves, Bulgaria is a country. And they're ruling fine there. You understand?
I'm with you.
When you go to Bulgaria, you actually cry, my brother. I've been there before. Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, all those places where you've been there, you will weep for being a black man, you will weep. Because why? All those countries have nothing that we have. No state in Nigeria that doesn't have mineral resources that can sustain a country. Where are all those things going to? Brother,
why are people so scared when we talk about breakup? Do you know that it's because the politicians always tell them, the politicians always tell them, JJ, the politicians always tell them that if you talk about breakup, you are talking about war. Who is going to fight the war? You or them?
Brother,
when you will begin to ask, go on.
Nobody can afford to fight any war within Nigeria. Mark my word. Nobody, if anything eventually happens, Hausa cannot stand the war. Yoruba cannot stand the war. Igbo cannot stand the war. Do you know the reason why I'm telling you?
Tell me.
Because there's a lot of multiple interests in Nigeria, especially that country, because we have enough resources that every European country or every Western country are interested in buying, so they will support. And the amount of ammunition that will enter that country, anybody who think a war will happen, and Hausa man will survive, or Igbo man will survive, or Yoruba is just lying. Brother, mark my word, Nigeria will break a single bullet will not shoot. Mark my word, I'm telling you this today. I've been telling you this thing.
You have been telling me. You have.
Nigeria will break and a single bullet will not shoot. We need just one person, like that woman, Abaribi, who can stand in the parliament and tell them
and move emotion
that today we are dividing the country. Either you like it or not, bring your army, let's fight. That's all what Nigeria needs. Just one man. And you will see from that moment, the country will be divided. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, JJ. Thank you very much for this, another big one. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's JJ there. I have another caller here. Hello there. Hello?
Hello there.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes, so Mr. Mayego, this is Chuk. I'm calling from US.
Chuk from US, sir. Go on, you are live.
Yeah. I just listened to the last guy. But first of all, let me just say that you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job, I must say, because I've been following you for some time. You
Thank
say
you.
The truth.
Thank you, sir.
Try to be balanced.
Thank
so
you.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I was listening to the last caller who said that Nigeria will break up without a single shot being fired. I really don't know how he intends to that's going to happen. Because, for instance, the thing is that as we are speaking right now, all these northerners, they are shipping their marginaries to the south, which a lot of people are believing that this is in preparation for their jihad. We know right now that oil, the money, Nigeria is not realizing money from oil sales. So the time to capitalize on whatever agenda they have is now.
It's now.
If they try to wait tomorrow, at least now there's a little money still coming in. They can use to buy their weapons and whatever. So what is the purpose of all those people that are shipping to the south for? And then those people that are talking about asking your politicians questions. All these politicians have been there and all these things have been happening all this while. The politicians are the ones benefiting. The masses are not even benefiting. So I don't even know why anybody would say we should go back to those same politicians to go and ask them questions. When they have been, we have been the ones at the receiving end all this while. So all the questions they have been asking, at least some people have been asking questions before now. Why it is as if people are not asking questions? Because they have been asking questions and no answer. And since there is no answer at the point in time, people are going to get tired of asking questions.
That's right.
When you are talking of poverty, how will people come and be asking questions when they are hungry? And don't even forget that when you are asking questions, they are hounding you with police, they are hounding you with DSS, they are hounding you with army.
And so many people are not lucky. Some are not lucky. They kill them.
Yeah, people will eventually shut up. So I don't know when he say we should go and ask politicians. How are you going to ask politicians that surround themselves with police and army? What are you going to ask? I've even seen a scenario whereby people did work for some politicians. They have not been paid. But the politician, when they ask questions, the politician use the same police to go and harass them and beat them for asking for money for job that they did. So who is going to ask questions in that kind of environment? So it's just a lot of bullshit that is going on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that so much. So take care and have a good one there. I mean, there, sir. So that will be my last caller tonight. I think we have test run this now and it worked, and I believe everybody loved it as well. It seems the image, according to you guys, is very good. The audio is also up to it. There's so much that we are also going to try as the days goes by, and that's why you should. Some of you are still hanging on. It is time to give your support to Diaspora Radio, because we will leave that fundraiser. I'm going to leave that fundraiser on until September, when we will be launching the radio in Glasgow. So which means there's still very much room for you to still support. There is no official bank account for Diaspora Radio, and I'm not going to take it into my bank account without a trace like that. So if you have anything you want to give to support Diaspora Radio, this is going to happen. All you are seeing right now, they are just tips. When you begin to, many of you are going to be watching watching a Diaspora Radio, watching my Egun on Diaspora Radio through your own mobile app. There's a lot coming. These are just the visual ones. The radio, the real deal is coming. And let me tell you the purpose of that radio. You have seen what we are doing now, what I'm trying out with this program this afternoon, where people are watching us from YouTube, people are watching from Facebook. So what could have been the third plug-in will be the radio. And that one actually reaches more people than what Facebook and YouTube can ever reach. So that is why we are having Diaspora Radio. So the purpose is to ensure that as you are watching this program on YouTube right now, and some of you are watching it on Facebook, right? So some people will be listening to it on their own phone through the app all over Nigeria, as long as they have the internet around there. And for those who don't have internet, the mobile app we are building will allow you to listen to recorded content like this. So imagine if I don't have to download, then upload and replay. Just one shot, and everybody is listening all over the world. Radio, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and at the same time, you can also listen online. Go to diasporaradiointernational.com and just join the program live. It is going to be beautiful. You are going to be so proud that you are part of this. So don't give it up. Let us continue to share it. The campaign is going to be on until the day that we will launch Diaspora Radio, and that will be September 1st, 2020. I have something to tell you. That doesn't mean that you are not going to hear Diaspora Radio until September. No. If I have my way, we will have Diaspora Radio tomorrow. But everything that is meant to be good, perfect, requires perfect structure for it. And I'm not going to build a platform where your data will not be safe. I work in a system in the UK here whereby data protection is a big thing, and there is no amount of money you spend to protect your website, to protect the visitors, so that nobody steal their card or their statement or anything at all. So because I work in that field, I have started investing in that. We are going to build the most strongest, the most widest, the far richest online radio platform that you've ever seen before, ever. That's what we are building. And we are building it with these minimal resources. And we are getting there. So for those who count on me, who believe so much in me, all of you who put in your own hard-earned money, because we know that money is hard to come by today, but you still gave anyway. I have to tell you, you are part of an history that is about to change a lot of things. So thank you, and do not give up. There are many of you who have already contacted me privately on how to support us, on how to help us grow and move into that, shark-filled water of online broadcasting. Some of you are already contacting me and discussing with me. Thank you. I use this opportunity to say this to you because so many of you are watching this. That is why you are giving it a follow-up. Let's do it. We will do it. And by September, I will be doing this inside the office, the headquarters, the international headquarters of Diaspora Radio International. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to those who have called in. Thank you to those who took their time to watch from beginning to this point. I'm going to see you some other time. Until then, please stay safe. Bye-bye.
Ayégún làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Ayégún dáyàrí, ayégún bàbá. Ayégún làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Ayégún dáyàrí, ayégún bàbá. Ayégún ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Ayégún dáyàrí, ayégún bàbá. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Ayégún dáyàrí. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún dá wa sí. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò nílẹ̀ o. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. Bó o bá ṣe àní Máyégún máa wí. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. Ó sì tún ṣe wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. Máyégún dáyàrí, dáyàrí pòlítíkò. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ dódódódó. Máyégún dáyàrí, Máyégún bàbá. àníyàn súnràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àníyàn súnràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àníyàn súnràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àníyàn súnràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọba bá gbé wúrà.